I was Marcus, the privileged scion of Manhattan's elite circles, his idealized love. Everyone said he loved me more than life itself. After I went abroad, he found a substitute and forced her to mimic my every word and action. As soon as I returned, he made a grand gesture and spent millions on my birthday. On the day we got together, he illuminated the city with fireworks and announced it in every major newspaper. I became the most envied woman on social media. I was so happy I felt like it was all a dream. Until I saw him and his substitute's wedding with my own eyes, saw him place the ring on her finger. My dream finally shattered. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and let us know in the comments where you're listening from. When I saw the groom's name in the hotel lobby, I thought it was just a coincidence, a shared name, until I pushed open the door and saw Marcus placing a ring on Ivy's finger. His expression shifted slightly when he saw me. He was about to say something, but Ivy grabbed his arm. Marcus's best friend, Chris, was frantic. "Grace, please don't misunderstand. We all know Marcus only has eyes for you. He must have a reason for doing this, don't overthink it. He was marrying another woman, how could I not overthink it?" I raised my hand to stop him. I also preserved my last shred of dignity. "Don't call me Grace. And please wish him a happy new marriage for me." As I turned, I glimpsed Marcus's foot twitch, as if he meant to follow me. I deliberately slowed my pace, waiting 10 minutes outside the hotel. All I received was a text message: "Grace, don't overthink things. Ivy just wanted a wedding, she's been with me for 5 years, and I owe her this." 5 years, 1825 days. Perhaps hadn't even realized he'd already fallen for Ivy. 2. Everyone said I was Marcus's idealized love, that he loved me more than life itself, and Ivy was just my substitute. No one knew that my love for Marcus was just as strong as his. We were classmates for 6 years, and I secretly liked him for 3. In my memory, he was always that unrestrained and confident teenager. My feelings for him changed one time when my blood sugar dropped. He stood before me, backlit, looking down, and threw me a chocolate bar. I remembered that scene for many years. After that, he'd bring me 2 chocolate bars before morning practice every time. To thank him, I offered to help him with tutoring. He would also step in front of me when boys harassed me, fiercely chasing them away. Then he'd pinch my cheek and grumble, "Grace, are you an idiot? Don't you know how to run? And next time something like this happens, call me." I thought I was special to him, and our classmates implicitly considered us a couple. Until the day high school ended, I decided to confess my feelings to him. But I overheard him telling his friends, "How could I like Grace? I was just playing around with her. Didn't you see the way she looks at me? She's definitely serious, probably even wants to confess to me, haha." At that moment, I was thunderstruck, like someone had poured a basin of cold water over my head, chilling me to the core. I don't even know how I managed to leave that humiliating place. Soon after, my parents were transferred abroad for work, and I went with them. That was 7 years ago. It wasn't until a year ago that I returned to the country due to a work transfer. I never thought I'd cross paths with him again. But after I returned, everyone told me Marcus loved me so much he found a substitute, made her act like me, and kept her by his side for 5 years. The day I returned, he stood downstairs from my house, his eyes red, his whole body trembling, as if desperately suppressing something. "Grace, why did you leave without a word 7 years ago? Do you know how much I missed you?" After that, he pursued me relentlessly. I already liked him, and I was quickly moved and got together with him. I was enveloped by an immense feeling of happiness. A happiness that felt almost unreal. He bought the front pages of major newspapers nationwide, announcing our relationship. He said, "Grace, I will never let you leave me in this lifetime." He said, "I'll handle my relationship with Ivy, she's just your substitute, don't overthink it." But I never imagined this was how he would handle it. 3. When I left Marcus's house, I took off my ring and threw it on the table. Years of entangled emotions, ending here. I blocked Marcus from all my contacts, moved back home, and submitted my application to return to headquarters. In truth, my mission here was already complete, but I had lingered because of Marcus and was prepared to stay for him. But now, there was no need. The next day, I went to work as usual. The weather mirrored my mood, overcast, with a drizzling rain falling all day. As I left the office after work, we saw Marcus standing by his car, holding a black umbrella. His eyes unconsciously brightened for a moment when he saw me. Chloe playfully nudged me towards him. I didn't want to argue with him, so I got into his car. As soon as I entered the car, I smelled a strong perfume scent, which made me frown. Marcus glanced at my expression and misunderstood something. "Grace, are you still angry about yesterday? It's really not what you think with her. That was just a formality. You know, you're the one I've always wanted to marry. But she was with me for 5 years, after all. I couldn't deny her even that small thing, could I? A small thing? A wedding with another woman was just a small thing to him? What did I, his girlfriend, mean to him? And what did others think of me? I closed my eyes, trying to calm myself. Marcus, did you see that ring? Marcus's hands, gripping the steering wheel, paused. I looked at him, not giving him a chance to evade. Then you should understand what I mean. Let's break up. I have no interest in getting involved in your affairs. For Marcus slammed on the brakes, pulling the car over to the side of the road. Grace, she's different from you. I promise you, this is the last time. I won't contact her again, okay? Do you even believe that yourself? Marcus always had a knack for stabbing me in the heart when I was happiest. Before I returned, Ivy lived in my shadow. After I returned, I lived in Ivy's shadow. She was everywhere in my life. Marcus said he'd cut ties with her, but he'd always rush off after receiving a phone call. He'd say it was an urgent office matter, but I knew it was Ivy. I was willing to give him time to end things with his past. But I couldn't stand him dividing his heart between two people. He said he'd break up with her, but he simply couldn't. Perhaps what's unobtainable is always the best. I was tired. I didn't want to get caught in this absurd love triangle anymore. Marcus, I'm out. I truly wish you both happiness. With that, I opened the car door to get out, but he grabbed me. Grace, just give me a little more time. I'll make things clear with her. There's no need. I shook him off and walked into the rain without looking back. 2 days later, I received a reply from headquarters. After I finished the handover, I could return next month. Perhaps it was from the rain, but my throat had been hurting badly for the past 2 days. I needed to buy a few things, so I took a day off from the office. Who knew, as soon as I entered the mall, I ran straight into Ivy. This was the first time I'd confronted her face to face since returning. To be honest, her features were very similar to mine, but her eyes held a touch more disdain and arrogance when she looked at people. She stood with her arms crossed. I looked down and saw the wedding ring on her left ring finger, glinting a little too brightly, and upon closer inspection, it looked familiar. It was very similar to the one Marcus had given me. I didn't know whether to say his taste was consistent or if he had issues. But none of that concerned me. I tried to walk past Ivy into the mall, but she shifted to block my path. Her friend, Sarah, walked out of the mall, her eyes filled with scorn when she saw me. It took me a moment to recognize her. She was Sarah, my high school classmate. How did she end up hanging out with Ivy? Seeing me look at her, Sarah disdainfully scrutinized me. Grace, if you left, why did you come back? Ivy and Marcus were already together. If it weren't for you, how would they have broken up? But even if you're back, what does it matter? With just a word from her, Marcus married her. Ivy scornfully twirled the ring on her finger. Marcus and I are married. I hope Ms. Grace will back off and not ruin my happiness. I honestly hadn't intended to do anything to her. But she provoked me. You sent that text message, didn't you? That day, the reason I went to the hotel was because Marcus had texted me, saying he had a surprise for me. Only when I got there did I realize it was quite the surprise. But now that I thought about it, Marcus would have tried to keep that a secret from me. How could he have willingly told me? The one who truly wanted me to find out was Ivy. Ivy froze for a moment. Then she said defiantly, so what if it was me? I was just reminding you, don't be a homewrecker and destroy someone else's family. A homewrecker? Not to mention I'd known Marcus 10 years longer than her, and her relationship with Marcus was a transaction from the start. When I returned, Marcus quickly broke up with her and got together with me. It was she who, knowing Marcus had a girlfriend, used their past connection as leverage to constantly interfere, taking him away from me, and even having a wedding with my boyfriend. I curled my lips into a mocking smile. Ms. Ivy, don't play the thief for so long that you end up deceiving yourself. Ivy's face changed. Grace, who do you think you are? I was the one by his side for 5 years. Why do you get to take everything that belongs to me just because you came back? That question could only be answered by Marcus. I only went abroad, I didn't die. He liked me but didn't come looking for me, instead finding a substitute and feeling sorry for himself. Now I was back, and he was still tied to her. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. My throat burned, and I really didn't have the energy to argue with them. I just wanted to leave quickly. Sarah sensed my intention and gripped my wrist tightly, her sharp nails digging into my flesh. Don't even think about leaving. You have to explain yourself today. Let go. I winced in pain. Sarah scoffed, so a homewrecker thinks she's justified Today I'll let everyone see what kind of person you, Grace, are. With that, she stood at the mall entrance and shouted, "Everyone, come look. This woman here is seducing my best friend's husband. They're already married, but she's still clinging to him, ruining someone else's family." Passers-by had already noticed the commotion and stopped to watch. Hearing her words, they quickly gathered around, pointing fingers at me. "She's so pretty, why would she do something so awful as being a homewrecker? That's despicable. I once had a best friend who was forced to jump off a building because of a homewrecker. Wait, why does she look so familiar? Doesn't she look like the heir's idealized love who was so popular online?" We all envied her back then. I was surrounded in the center of the crowd, with people chattering, their spittle almost flying onto my face. My face darkened. "Sarah, what are you talking about? Marcus and I have already broken up." She became even more agitated. "Listen. She admitted it herself. And you say you broke up? How do I know if it's true or false?" Dan and Sarah exchanged a look, and Ivy's tears started falling instantly, making her look utterly pitiful. "Ms. Grace, I beg you, please give Marcus back to me. I truly can't live without him." Ivy's crying made the crowd's sympathy overflow, and they cursed me even more harshly. "You're insane." I gritted my teeth, cursed, and pushed them aside to leave. I don't know who made the first move, but my hair was pulled from behind. Then people swarmed me, fists and feet raining down. I was already weak from a lingering cold, my body sore, and this assault almost made me lose my breath. Just when I thought I was about to be beaten to death, several bodyguards rushed over, isolating the crowd. Then I was pulled into a warm embrace. I coughed, and blood trickled from the corner of my lips. Before I collapsed, I only saw Marcus's anxious face and Ivy's and Sarah's uneasy expressions. I woke up again in the hospital. When Saw I was awake, he rushed to the bedside. "Grace, how are you feeling?" My body ached, especially my throat, which was dry and hoarse. I couldn't speak a word. Marcus fed me some water, his expression cold. "Grace, don't worry, I won't let any of those who hurt you get away." I nodded. I knew Marcus's methods, I trusted him to handle it. At least, that's what I always thought until then. Until the police officers showed up. I opened my eyes wide in surprise. "What did you say?" The two police officers exchanged glances and repeated, "Ms. Grace, we are here to confirm whether you wish to reconcile with Ms. Ivy and no longer pursue any charges against her." After regaining my composure, I laughed, a bitter, hollow laugh. I should have known, Marcus was no longer the boy from my memories. His heart now held another girl. How ridiculous that I still thought he would hurt another girl he cherished to protect me. My expression turned cold. "No. I do not accept a reconciliation. I want her to pay for her actions." After was arrested and charged, Marcus rushed into the hospital room, words of blame tumbling out. "Grace, Ivy just acted impulsively. Why do you have to be so harsh with her?" Acted impulsively? If I had beaten her into the hospital and said it was just an impulsive act, would I be exempt from legal responsibility? Marcus was speechless. He hesitated, then stepped forward and took my hand. "Grace, I didn't mean it that way. You know, she's been with me for 5 years, I can't." "Enough." I pulled my hand away, disgusted. "I'm not interested in your affairs. She broke the law, and she must face the consequences. Not just Ivy, I wouldn't let anyone who laid a hand on me that day get away." Seeing that I wouldn't back down, Marcus's face darkened. "Grace, how could you become like this?" No, if I remembered correctly, I was the victim. He didn't blame the instigator, instead, he criticized me. "You're acting like a saint, aren't you? If you want to be a saint, do it yourself, don't drag me into it." I sneered. "Marcus, I have no morals, you can't manipulate me emotionally." After that unpleasant encounter, Marcus never appeared again. I couldn't be bothered with him and ate and drank well every day. Because I refused to reconcile, Ivy and Sarah were detained for 14 days. But with Marcus's influence, Ivy was only held for 3 days. On the day she was released, Marcus personally went to pick her up. Ivy, her eyes brimming with tears, threw herself into his arms. The two embraced and kissed passionately, oblivious to their surroundings. When the lawyer sent the video of the scene to my phone, I accidentally opened it, feeling a wave of disgust. After my injuries healed, I returned to the office. I thought Marcus had chosen her between Ivy and me. Who knew? This day after work, as I walked downstairs to my house, I saw him with his hands in his pockets, leaning against his car, his lips curved as he waved at me. As if nothing had happened before. I didn't give him a good look. "What are you doing here?" Marcus's brows were etched with a deep affection. "Grace, I'm here to take you home." I looked at him as if he were an idiot. I even admired him a little. How could he manage to be still tied to her with Ivy while simultaneously putting on a show of deep affection for me? Marcus, I told you we've already broken up. Please don't bother me again. Marcus's expression just stiffened for a moment. Grace, I know you're just angry. Ivy and I have already talked things through these past few days. From now on, her affairs have nothing to do with me. She won't bother us again. He had said that countless times. I no longer cared if it was true or false. Go back. Don't come again. No. Marcus shook his head and stepped forward to grab me, but I dodged him. Grace, trust me one more time. I've given you many chances. But every time, he disappointed me. Perhaps I shouldn't have come back. I shouldn't have hoped to start over with him. Marcus refused to leave and stood downstairs for a long time. I don't know when he left, but the next morning, as I went out, a breakfast bag hung on the doorknob, along with 2 chocolate bars. A sticky note was attached to the bag. Grace, don't forget to eat breakfast. Be careful your blood sugar drops again. At the end, he even drew a smiley face. I scoffed, unceremoniously throwing them into the trash can. Marcus didn't know that my blood sugar problem had long since disappeared. I thought I had made things clear enough with him, but he still refused to give up, constantly sending flowers and gifts. My colleagues looked at me with a hint of teasing. I gave the flowers to my colleagues, returned all the gifts, and didn't answer his phone calls or text messages. 9. The process to return to headquarters had already begun. I didn't want to have anything more to do with him, I just wanted to leave quietly. But wouldn't let me have my way. A few days later, the office received an order from Vance, specifically requesting me to oversee it. A deal worth billions, which the office took very seriously. When was pursuing me, he was so public about it that almost everyone in the office knew. The news of our quarrel had also spread throughout the office these past few days. My boss was a shrewd person. How could he not understand Marcus's intentions? He called me into his office, asked me to cooperate fully, and advised me, Grace, there's nothing between couples that can't be overcome. Mr. Marcus has already taken the initiative to apologize. Don't be playing coy too much, or he might be stolen away by another woman, and then you'll be kicking myself. I forced a smile and said nothing. Despite my reluctance, I had to deal with him. On the day of our meeting, as soon as I stepped into the CEO's office, my eyes met Marcus's. I subtly averted my gaze and, strictly professional, called out, Mr. Marcus. He nodded blankly. After that, I avoided looking at him the entire time, quietly presenting my proposal. Unbeknownst to me, Marcus's mind was completely off business, his eyes staring at me without a hint of discretion. Midway through my presentation, I coughed, and a cup of tea was immediately offered to me. I pretended not to see it and continued with my proposal. Afterward, he kept me behind alone. Chloe playfully nudged my elbow. I sighed helplessly to myself. Once everyone had left, I dropped the pretense. Marcus, what exactly do you want? He cautiously took 2 steps closer to me. Grace, I just wanted to see you. I gave him a mocking look. Spending tens of millions just to see me? Mr. Marcus, you certainly have deep pockets. Should I feel honored? Marcus chuckled. As long as you're willing to see me, no amount of money is too much. I spread my hands. You've seen me now, so what? You can't possibly think we can go back to how things were, can you? Grace. I cut him off. I might as well tell you, I've already applied to return to headquarters. We probably won't see each other again. So, Marcus. I looked at him steadily. Don't waste your time on me. 10. What did you say? Marcus's eyes were bloodshot, looking at me in disbelief. I was unusually patient and repeated myself. Marcus's eyes were red like dripping blood, and he gritted his teeth, saying each word slowly. Grace, are you going to abandon me and leave again? Didn't you promise me you wouldn't leave again? Are you going to go back on your word? I did promise, but he also said he'd break up with Ivy, and he didn't. Besides, we had already broken up. It was none of his business whether I left or stayed. It backfired on me. Marcus really did care. Ever since he knew I was returning to headquarters, Marcus had been holding up the deal. I met with him a few more times afterward, but the proposal could never be finalized. I was kicking myself. I should have known not to be so impulsive. Headquarters also attached great importance to this project and wanted me to complete it before returning, but judging by Marcus's attitude, who knew how long it would drag on? Just as I was agonizing over this, a friend suddenly forwarded me a video. It was Ivy, crying and making a scene outside Vance, demanding to see Marcus. 2 security guards held her, but Marcus never appeared. The video ended with her kicking and biting as the security guards dragged her away. Before I could say anything, my friend typed furiously. Grace, Marcus is really determined to break up with her this time. I heard he gave her a sum of money, but she's still persistent and wanted to go see him, but didn't even meet her and had her dragged away. Grace, can you really not give him another chance? We all know he loves you. If you hadn't gone abroad a few years ago, none of this with her would have happened. Perhaps, but I no longer wanted any involvement with him. I didn't want to stumble in the same place 3 times, that would be truly foolish. But I didn't expect Ivy to come looking for me. Her grim expression made me so scared that I ran off without a trace. Last time, she falsely accused me of being a homewrecker and caused me to spend a few days in the hospital. Who knew if this time she'd throw acid or something? In any case, keeping my distance from her was always the right move. After that, I called Marcus. He created the trouble, he could solve it himself. I don't know what Marcus did, but after that, Ivy never appeared again. 11 months later, despite Marcus's reluctance, the deal had dragged on long enough. It was finally set to be signed 2 days later at a hotel under Vance. I was so happy I almost bought a huge celebration to celebrate. 2 days later, I arrived at the hotel on time, holding the contract. But my colleagues looked at me strangely. I didn't think much of it, after all, they always looked at us with a mix of teasing and envy. But I never expected that as soon as I walked in, I'd be stunned by the sight before me. Countless flowers and balloons filled the space, along with photos of Marcus and me from high school, him leaning on his desk watching me during class, me cheering him on at a basketball game. There were photos of him proposing to me after I returned, my eyes filled with tears as I threw myself into his arms. Behind us the brilliant fireworks and familiar faces. Marcus stood at the end of the crowd, behind him a large pink screen displaying, Grace, I love you, marry me. I almost didn't hesitate, turning to leave. But my colleague pushed me towards him. In that delay, Marcus had already reached me. He held a ring, the very one I had thrown onto the table the day I left. Marcus knelt on one knee before me, the deep affection in his eyes almost consuming me. Grace, you don't know how long I've waited for this day, just as you don't know how much I love you. In my heart, you have always been the most important, and no one can ever replace you. A lot has happened recently, and I've come to understand. It was my fault before, I shouldn't have looked for a substitute. No matter how much they looked like you, they weren't you. Grace, marry me. Give me a chance to make amends and take care of you. Instantly, the entire venue erupted in enthusiastic applause and cheers. This scene had appeared countless times in my dream. Yes, I had indeed thought about marrying him, but that was in the past. I didn't know what marriage truly meant to him. Ivy wanted a wedding, so he gave her one. Now that I broke up with him, he wanted to keep me by proposing. I took a deep breath, and my voice, when I spoke, carried a hint of seriousness. Marcus, get up. Marcus seemed to know what I was about to say, and his eyes held a pleading look. Grace, I beg you, don't reject me. I'll give you anything you want in the future. I shook my head firmly. Marcus, I no longer love you, and I won't marry you. If you truly love me, don't force me. With that, I didn't bother with the man kneeling on the ground and walked away without looking back. I didn't notice the look in Marcus's eyes behind me, tinged with obsession and madness. I cut off all contact with Marcus and had other colleagues handle the contract signing. Afraid he would block me at home, I even moved into the hotel. Soon, the contract was finalized. I could finally leave. 12 after packing my things, I took a taxi directly from the hotel to the airport. I looked at my phone for a while, then when I looked up, I realized this wasn't the way to the airport at all. My heart instantly leaped into my throat. Before I could do anything, I was suddenly knocked unconscious. When I woke again, I found myself lying on a bed, with a silver chain around my wrist. I struggled for a while, but it was futile. Awake? Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind me. I whipped my head around, and seeing him, I was so angry my lungs almost burst. Marcus, are you insane? Let me go immediately. No. Marcus seemed unstable, his slightly cool hand gently stroking my cheek. If I let you go, you'll leave me. Grace, isn't it good to stay by my side? Why do you want to leave again? I gritted my teeth. Marcus, what you're doing is illegal. Marcus chuckled softly upon hearing this. It's perfectly natural for me to be with my wife. I struggled violently. Marcus, we've already broken up. Broken up, do you understand? I will never marry you, not in this life or the next. Marcus's eyes twitched fiercely. He grabbed my chin with anger, biting hard on my lips. Grace, don't try to provoke me. Just stay here obediently, don't even think about going anywhere. I was so angry I kicked him. but he caught my foot and gently massaged it. It sent a shiver down my spine, and I instantly pulled my foot back. He's gone mad, completely mad. Marcus has lost his mind. I couldn't be bothered arguing with a madman. I could only hope someone would realize I was missing, call the police, and rescue me. But days passed, and there was no sound from outside. Marcus came to see me every day. When I refused to eat or drink, he would pinch my jaw and force it down my throat. I hadn't said a word to him these past few days, but he didn't get angry. He held me, recounting our past over and over, and imagining our future. I lay stiffly in his arms, playing dead. I thought of countless ways to save myself, but he saw through every single one. 13 Just as I was despairing. That day, a sharp police siren sliced through the air. Soon, the door was kicked open from the outside, and several police officers rushed in. Tears streamed down my face in excitement, I could barely speak. Before was taken away, he tried to rush towards me but was held firmly by 2 police officers. He struggled fiercely, his eyes filled with panic and helplessness as he looked at me. Grace, wait for me. I'll be right back. Don't go, wait for me. I ignored him, shielded by a female police officer as I walked out of the estate that had confined me for over 20 days. I learned from the police officers that headquarters hadn't heard from me for a long time since my scheduled start date. After contacting the domestic branch, they had tried to find Marcus, but concealed my whereabouts. Fearing something had happened, they eventually called the police officers. After I was rescued, colleagues and friends sent messages of condolence. Oh my God. I never thought Marcus would be this kind of person, it's terrifying. A few days after giving my statement, I took my passport and immediately flew abroad. Marcus was arrested and charged for kidnapping and unlawful detention. With witnesses and evidence, even with Vance's powerful legal department, he still spent some time in jail. I lived a life of freedom for a while. Until one day, 6 months later, I met him on the street. Marcus was enveloped in an air of dejection, completely devoid of his former arrogance and air of superiority. Seeing him about to walk towards me, I was so scared I took off running. Later, I often ran into him on foreign streets, sometimes at a coffee shop, sometimes downstairs from the office. Perhaps knowing I didn't want to see him, he just quietly followed without disturbing me. Until a year later, he finally stopped coming. I thought he had given up. Later, I learned he had been in a car accident and would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair, no longer able to bother me. While I breathed a sigh of relief, I also felt a strange sense of melancholy. I don't know how he and I came to this point, but perhaps this was the best ending for us. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.